I have a vision for my life. To be a beacon of hope for people who feel down and out and feel that they're not worthy. I want them to be able to look at my story and say, if he could do it, why can't I? I'm the creator of my destiny. What I do today sets up my goal I have for myself 10 years from now. It takes everything to be successful. Everything in you has to be focused on your goal. When you put everything into achieving your goal, you have no choice but to be successful. When I'm faced with an obstacle, I smash it. I don't beat around the bush or try to find a quiet way to get around it. I want the obstacle to know I'm coming. And if it wants to take its chance and stay in my way, good luck. My philosophy for life is quite simply one word: dukkha. It is a Buddhist belief of suffering. The Buddhists believe that suffering is a part of life, and that understanding that this suffering is a part of life, one cannot dwell on the suffering and move on to happiness. When it's all said and done, I want to be remembered as the person who found himself in this messed up world, but did all he could to make it better than how he found it.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I didn't get it. This one? This works? Hey, everybody. How you doing? I don't know. We're going to try it again. Wait, hold on. Hey, everybody. How you doing? There we go. All right, that was a little low. Y'all act like I've been here all day or something. That's not the kind of party I run. This is a different party. So before we start, who doesn't know who I am? You're not hurting my feelings. It's okay. Okay, you all can go now. So, no, okay, so for people that don't know, my name is John Lewis. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. Funny enough, my family owns the #1 barbecue joint in Little Rock, Arkansas. And here comes this weird vegan guy. And so I'm not shunned away from my family, but we definitely have our little conversations from time to time. My mother moved to St. Louis, Missouri, Ferguson, in fact, when I was 2 years old. And if anybody's heard about Ferguson, that's where there's a lot of gang violence when I grew up there. Mike Brown was the latest case that kind of hit like national news. And then I moved to Miami after playing basketball in undergrad. So I've been in Miami for 14 years now. The funny part was, a lot of people don't know because they see, my fitness and all this. I was once 315 pounds as a freshman in high school. Yeah, you don't have to make me feel like that. It's okay. Like, I know how big 315 is. Don't worry. But the thing was, I was athletic, so nobody really paid attention to it. So it was kind of funny to go from 1 year at 315 to about, I would say 160, 170 in one summer. I mean, it was a lot of changing my eating habits. I hadn't gone vegan yet. I was still in high school. But it was also changing my activity level. For anybody that has kids or anybody that's played Little League basketball or football, when you play Little League, there's really no practice. There's no actual physical activity. The coach just puts a bunch of balls out there and then he goes and talks on the phone and comes back after everything, and then you come back. But when I got to high school, I started doing like 2 a days, 3 a days, and I started to lose the weight. Now, the thing about being 315 was I wasn't the height I am now. I was only like 5'8". So it was a little bit more noticeable and a little bit more crucial and hard to move around. So just to talk, the way my style is, I talk a little bit about myself, and then I realize that everybody's bored, and then I go into Q&A. So I got a little bit more to go. Don't worry, it's not that much. For a lot of people who don't know, I have teamed up. There was this guy on stage earlier named Keegan. I don't know if you guys know him or not. So we teamed up, and we're doing a documentary together by the name of Hungry for Justice. And like he said, we're pretty much basing it off of food injustice and social justice, and also focusing on nutrition deserts as well as food deserts through the lens of hip hop and urban culture. And we're gonna be talking to all these different hip hop icons, athletes. Right now we got some incredible names lined up. And we've had some amazing interviews. Like, we've had a couple people cry in the interviews, and we're like, whoa, this is getting deep. Like, so it's gonna get very, very, very deep. Share it with your friends, all those that are not vegan but are thinking about going. And speaking of that, who all in here is not vegan? It's okay, this is a friendly environment. Okay, lock the doors, they're in here, so. You're here, really, really, everybody, without playing this time, give them a round of applause for being here. Because we know how crazy we can get sometimes, so we thank you for hanging around, you know. So that's really about it. There's a couple things that are coming up. A lot of people don't know I own a protein shake company as well. If anybody's ever heard of Vegan Smart, I actually own that company. It's in CVS, Vitamin Shop, also Walmart. You can also find us on Amazon, badassvegan.com. Vegansmart.com. We're trying to, you know, just not take over, because I always tell people, I'm one of those business owners that like, and you'll see it a lot, like veganism is supposed to be about love and sharing, and you'll see other companies hating on other companies, and I'm like the one that's out there like, hey, try them all. You might like another one and you might not like mine. I'm not for everybody, it's okay. So we are 20 grams of protein, no soy, no dairy, no gluten, no artificial flavors or coloring. You can tell I said this a couple times before. But we basically, we price pointed ours because coming from where I come from, you know, we just wanted to be affordable for people. So like our price point is like 15 servings and we're like under $30. So we try not to like, you know, in a vegan sense, make a killing off of people. We try to like really like, and I'm one of the few owners too that will tell you, you don't need protein shakes. I know it's tough, I know it's hard to hear, you don't need protein shakes. But you don't, it's more of a convenient thing. For instance, over the last 2 years, I've logged over 250,000 sky miles. So I travel a lot. So for me, it's more of a convenience thing. And I like the taste of it. So from time to time, as a convenience thing, I will go ahead and have it. So that's it about me. I'm going to open it up for questions. I know everybody always gets so shy when it's time for questions, but then I get 100 emails when it's time to, so crazy. So what I'm gonna do is, for everybody that asks a question afterwards, you're gonna email me, and when you come up to me, I'm gonna tell you a secret word. And you're gonna email me that secret word, I'm gonna send you an actual free packet of my protein shake. Oh, so now everybody's interested, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. So, all right, who's got the first question? Nobody? Nobody? Oh, right over here? I got one in the corner over here, one right there. Okay. Is that one out on?
I can talk louder.
I can hear that. I can.
Yeah. Is that better?
Okay.
So, as a college athlete, I have a lot of my friends starting to reach out to me, you know, how are you going vegan and how are you staying in shape? That's a big myth, I think. Mm-hmm. And also just growing up, I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. I've been in San Francisco for 5-6 years, so I kind of know what, you know.
Midwest, yeah.
Yeah, so you know how it is, but how do we communicate with our peers, our friends, and how do we share our message without being intrusive, right? So different cultures take things differently. How can we, I mean, is it basically just doing it and they ask questions? Is it a time thing? Because that's frustrating for me.
Yeah,
you know,
how long you been vegan now?
Probably a year and a half.
Okay, so yeah, that first year and a half, everybody in here that's been vegan over 5 years will probably agree with me. That first year and a half, you hate everybody. So you just do, you want everybody to go vegan literally in 5 seconds, you do. So you see how many people are laughing because it's true. There's some people over 5 years that still hate everybody. So it's kind of, so my biggest thing is, it's funny because I did a live portion today during my workout and somebody asked pretty much a similar question. And they were like, man, like, how do you answer the question about, you know, your protein and this? I said, well, I really don't get that question too much because just like you being an athlete, I tell everybody, your body's the first resume anybody will ever see. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do, you can't hide that. And people see that. And I always say the happiest and healthiest we can be, people will flock to that. And they want to be a part of that. Now, if it's somebody that's trying to get people to go vegan and they're, you know, they're not being that happy, they're angry all the time, and they're not in the best shape. Not saying anybody has to be a supermodel, I'm just saying just being healthy. Then people are like, well, I can do that and still eat meat. But if they're, they want to see that, they want to be around happiness, they want to be around health. So people are like, man, how are you you're doing these 18-hour days filming the documentary, you're doing speeches, you're doing all this, but you still go to the gym. I was like, because it's bigger than me. Like for me, it's bigger than me. Like I know that the harder I work out, the more I work out, people are gonna see that. And they're like, I really can't question this guy because he's doing it. Like it's different when they don't see it. When the guy just pops up out of nowhere and he's like, hey, I'm vegan, they're like, oh man, whatever. But if you're showing it and they're your teammates, so they see it. And eventually, if you stop mentioning it, I guarantee they're like, man, he hasn't said vegan in like 2 weeks, man. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, you still vegan? Oh, yeah. And as soon as they ask you, guess what? They just open the door. But the more we talk about it, and nothing against anybody that is religious, but it starts being like a religion. And people, you're knocking on the door, nobody's answering the door. That's what it is. It's more like that. So it's like, they're like, oh man, fuck the vegans outside. Like, don't answer the door. Like, so, but the less you talk about it, that you might even see people whispering like, man, I think he's vegan, right? He's vegan. Like we get that. I wear my little vegan shirts around everybody. I go to gyms. I have like my catchy phrases. By the way, I do have t-shirts to sell on the website, badassvegan.com, catchy phrases, sorry about that. But you do that, and the less you talk about it and the more you do it, people want to be a part of that. So I think, yeah, over there.
Hi. I just wanted to ask where you're at in the process of filmmaking, what's there left to do, when do you expect it to be out, and how do you expect to release it?
Okay, let me process everything. So our projected release date is going to be November of 2019. Right now, I would say we're about halfway done with the actual interviews. But the thing is, because we're filming so many, I guess, high-profile people that are spread out throughout the country, sorry, it gets a little difficult, because when you're filming a documentary that's just about you, it's easy to just film and you don't have to worry about locations. Like I've been in LA for a week, I've been here for a week, and we literally been having 2 to 3 interviews per day with that. And now I would say, as far as what we have left is just more interviews, editing, and from time to time people pop up like, we're working on Will.i.am and Colin Kaepernick and Kyrie Irving, and hey, if anybody's got a contact, y'all let us know, cause yeah. But no, it's looking good so far with those people as well. But that's pretty much it. It's just been grinding it out and just we might be done before November 19th, but we gave ourselves that wiggle room just in case it happens. My boy, what up?
Was there a specific thing that made you be vegan?
I knew we were gonna be friends, so that was the best thing. No, I would say for me it was health reasons, but I learned more about the animals as time went on. For me, my mother was diagnosed with colon cancer. So when she was diagnosed, I remember talking to the doctors and asking how did this happen? And the doctor's pretty frank with me. He said, too much animal protein mixed with, fried fatty foods. And for me, that was just a shock. And I didn't go vegan immediately, but I did a little bit more research. And once I did, I was like, wow, man, I can actually nothing's 100%, before, a lot of people always say, well, you can die at any time. I know that, but if I can cut down those chances, this seemed like such a complex answer for him. But, but everybody else, that's pretty much what happened.
Hi, I'm clearly not a bodybuilder, but I'm a runner and a swimmer.
Uh-huh.
And so with the global trend of people going more into bodybuilding and going to the gym and looking at US or European maybe models doing this, how can the non-bodybuilders of us still promote our sports as vegan activism?
Technically, I'm going to tell everybody right now, I am not a bodybuilder. I have never stepped on stage. I've never even, this is my stage right here. You've never seen me. Tori, which is one of my best friends, he goes on stage. But I've judged bodybuilding shows. For people just like you, I think it falls in the same category as him. Showing up is the biggest thing, because most of your haters are going to be people that don't even run or whatever it is. Like, what's your sport? You running, you said? Running, swimming. Half of the people that talk noise to you probably don't run or swim. So the fact that you're actually doing it is actually, they don't have anything else to do. So the more you show up, the better you do. Start recording your times, start posting your times. And then a year from now, do a throwback Thursday like, oh man, look how my time improved. Oh, only on plants. Who knew? Everybody thought I was gonna die, but look at me, over here living, swimming, you know, like, you got to do that. That's how I am. You got to do that. And that'll help out.
Hi, my name's Priscilla. One
Hello.
of the first things I noticed about you was all your tattoos. Do you have any tattoos pertaining to veganism or anything?
I actually do. They all kind of pertain to my journey to veganism. And this is a lot of stuff to explain. So so as you heard me talk about dukkha up here, dukkha is a Buddhist term for suffering. And like I said, it basically depicts that as long as you understand that there will always be suffering, then you can actually be happy. You're not sitting there thinking like, why me? Why is this gonna happen? So I actually have a totem pole to my Native American roots, but my totem pole has 2 vegan animals. It has the elephant and a panda, which is very rare for totem poles. There's not too many totem poles out there with an elephant and a panda, but that's my dedication. But as crazy as it sounds, I have about 9 more pieces to go, and so it's definitely gonna have more veganism. I know that just sounded painful thinking about it, but I have about 9 more pieces to go. So yeah, I have a little bit, and there will be more. Next.
Hi, I'm Gabriella, and I come from a family where meat is made. I'm Argentinian, and my dad's first generation. And my mom's here with me today, but out of anything, I know how hard it is growing up in a family who doesn't really accept veganism either. You know, they're nice about it, but it's really
They think you're crazy. It's okay.
Yeah. But there is one thing I can't help but worry about them. You know, like with my dad especially, I find myself concerned because, you know, he's not a very healthy person. And I know we just have to set a right example and take care of ourselves and hope that people recognize that, but it's a bit harder with family.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had any tips on how I can handle that personally, or how I could try to help him, because he's on and off.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Some of these people, it just doesn't connect.
And that happens. So my mother, who I talked about, she's still alive and she's still not vegan. So, but at the same time, how old is your dad now?
Like 54.
54. That's young in terms. My mom's 82. So as much as I want her to go vegan, and it's the same case, you know, I'm not gonna start a major argument with her at 81. So the last thought before she like leaves me is like, he tried to make me go vegan. I can't stand him. You know, I don't want that on my conscience. So what I try to do is, the more I'm around her, and I tell her, I'm like, hey mom, I'm paying for dinner. If you just come with me, you know, and I'm not pushing it on her, and it's not like I'm not in that bubble either where like, well, we just can't be around each other. When it's Thanksgiving dinner, I actually go to Thanksgiving dinner. I bring my own food.
It's just like, because my mom and I will cook food, we'll bring it to their house, we share, it's all vegan food, but it's come to the point where my dad will like eat out every single night, like he's separated himself from us.
Has he had any medical problems?
I think it's getting to that point, but it's denial.
Okay. And this is gonna sound so crazy, but any daughter in here, I have a daughter, so I know this will work. Any daughter, sometimes you have to put your foot down. And it's, as crazy as it sounds, this is very true. Sometimes you have to have that heart to heart. And I've done it with my family. I'm like, hey, look, you're not doing so well, Dad, and this is out of love, but I can't continue to watch you go down this road. And if you love me and you care for me like you say you will, I will remove myself from being around you. And I guarantee you that no dad wants to hear that. Now, he might think you're bluffing at first, and it might hurt you at first. But you know how the parents say, this is gonna hurt me worse than it hurts you? You're gonna have to, and I'm dead serious. I know this sounds so crazy, but if you do that, and you have to give yourself a 30-day window, like I'm not talking to him for 30 days. I guarantee you, he'll be like, wow, she wasn't playing. Like seriously, like it's so funny, my brother is going through that right now with my niece. And my niece told me, she was like, well, he did something and I'm just waiting. And my brother calls me every day like I'm his son. Every day he's like, oh man, have you talked to her? Is everything okay? I guarantee, and I know it sounds funny, but if you do that, and you have to talk to him like heart to heart, like, Dad, I love you and I'm watching you and I know you feel it. You know what I'm saying? If if he's having trouble breathing, he's having trouble with heart, whatever it is, like, Dad, we see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's probably, he's probably had some doctor's visits that he hasn't told you about. Most parents do that, especially in the Spanish Black community. Our parents don't tell us everything. They wait. Yeah, like they can literally have a triple bypass surgery, like, oh, I'm going on vacation. They're like, he won't tell you. He'll just wait. And you'll see a scar later on. He's like, oh, I didn't tell you about that? Like, yeah. That one trip I took. So you have to be very, very stern on that.
Yeah, thank you. Also, just one more thing. I was wondering, I really hope to start my own company someday, Veganism, just to help out my fellow vegans and for people like my dad that aren't vegan yet. So I was wondering if you could talk a bit about how you started with your company. But I believe you said that you have your own protein.
Yeah. It started with, so Badass Vegan is actually a company. I started in 2010. And everybody thought I was crazy because, first of all, I was naming it Badass Vegan. And this is 2010. This is before vegan made that big push. So literally everybody thought I was nuts. But I think you just kind of got to make sure and this is the biggest thing, whatever, and this is for anybody, whatever company you come out, whatever business plan you decide to do, the biggest thing to do is make sure that you develop a product that's not for you. The biggest mistake that business owners do is they come up with something that they love, but everybody else hates. And it happens constantly in business. Like, you can still keep your vegan values. That's what I did. I kept my vegan values. I did this. But I was like, what does the industry need right now? What do the people need? A lot of times, you'll see somebody come out with, I just saw one today. This is amazing to me that this actually even made it to market. The whole thing where the people put the scratchy cat tongue in their mouth and they lick the cat. Has anybody seen this? Just YouTube it. Literally, it's like that happened. And then they're gonna get mad when it doesn't sell. And they're gonna be like, well, I don't understand. I loved it. Yeah, you loved it. Everybody doesn't love that. Even cat owners are like, I'm not doing that. And you see videos of people with this thing in their mouth and they're licking their cat with this comb. Again, make sure it's something that people actually need, not something that you like. There you go.
So leveraging on her question, so I went plant-based 20 months ago, and one of the
Congrats.
Thank you. One of the challenges I'm finding is, so the last thing I haven't given up is patis, which is Filipino fish sauce, because emotionally it feels like I'm gonna give up my culture.
Emotionally, you just made me throw up. No, I'm just saying, like, they're just, not in a bad way.
Okay, but this is a great example of why people of color don't come out and say, I'm going vegan, because then we get ridiculed.
Yeah. No, I'm saying for me, fish sauce, not you. I'm just saying fish sauce.
But see, this is actually a great example.
Yeah.
Why more people of color don't come out, because, talking about this, I'm lucky my family's been supportive, but I go on vegan boards and stuff, and I just see how people get vilified or you get shamed because you're not being a perfect vegan. And then I try to find, I found 2 Filipino vegans, 2, in 20 months. And I've been looking around, and Klaus brought this up earlier, the vegan movement needs more people of color for it to get momentum and traction, because there's very low representation in all cultures. And I think a lot of us do have those fears of okay, well, I've given up the meat and the pork and stuff, but the fish sauce or the oyster sauce, I still haven't given up yet. And emotionally, I haven't reconciled, because it feels like you're giving up your culture. And I know there's the animals and stuff, but emotionally, it's but the pain of me feeling like I'm giving up my culture is greater. So we're not there yet. So my question actually really was, how do we get more people of color into the vegan movement and to be more open and not to feel afraid to talk about their journey or to be laughed at or ridiculed or shamed that you're not being a perfect vegan right now?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is for those people that have, for instance, for you with your fish sauce, if you look at it as far as a tradition, I always say tradition doesn't mean it's right. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I come from Little Rock, Arkansas. My tradition is to eat barbecue every day, and with barbecue on top of it. That's how we do it. But I had to come to the realization, hey, look, that's my tradition. But if you look, like everybody says DNA is, you can't beat genetics, right? Everybody hears that, like Filipinos, you can't beat genetics, Mexican, Spanish, Black, whatever it is, you can't beat genetics, but you actually can. Your genetics, the thing is, we fall into the category of where everybody eats the same thing, and then we wonder why we have the same diseases. So I don't know, is anybody, so you say you're the only one in your family that is vegan right now?
Yeah, I mean, and even for my family, I mean, my mom now makes dishes without the pork or shrimp.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she's like a kid, like, what can I make for you? And I want to encourage that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't get into it, but yeah, but it still has petite, so
Yeah.
it's kind of, and then again, like I said, the real issue is, like, I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
logically, it's emotionally. And I think a lot of people have that issue where emotionally, it's like, I don't know how to emotionally let go of this yet, because it's a big deal. Like, I go to my big fat Filipino events, and they're like, oh, the vegan is here.
Yeah.
Oh, here's some rice, and we made some, beans for you. And it's kind of like, thank you, family.
And they're doing it out of happiness, or they're trying to kind of give you a little.
Well, no, it's they love me and they're trying to.
Right.
But again, and I know a lot of people of color go through this when they're starting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but again, in the vegan movement, we need more people of color.
Of course.
So my question really, from what you've seen in all your travels, is how do we get more vegans of color into the movement and to be speaking and to be activists? Because like I said, in 20 months, I found 2 vegan Filipinos. 2.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of got to look at it this way, because, and as bad as it's gonna sound, this is not directed towards you. We're gonna get ridiculed no matter what we do. So you might as well get ridiculed for doing what's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, I'm full of a family that literally, I'm the only vegan. So like, and I know it can be emotional, it can be whatever. And, I come to they want to cook for me, that's awesome. I still bring my own food. Because the thing is, they're not gonna toss you away. They're not gonna not be your friends. Like, the same way they talk about you for bringing your food is the same way they're gonna talk about you because they had to cook your food. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well bring your food, because deep down inside, that's always gonna bother you that you had to have that fish sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like how you talked about it, like, I wanna get rid of it, but at the same time, I can't. Like, I guarantee if you tell your mom, hey, the same thing as before with her dad, hey mom, I love you. Like, I do love you. I promise you I love you, but I can't eat this anymore. Like, your mom's not gonna be like, well, don't talk to me ever again, because you won't eat my fish sauce. You see what I'm saying? And as far as getting more people of color, the more people that are willing to take that ridicule, the more people are like, okay, then that's fine. Oh man, they took that ridicule. You know what? I get the same thing. I get the same thing from my family. And then more people step up, because everybody gets ridiculed. All vegans get ridiculed. So I think it's the more people that step up and don't care about getting ridiculed, then it'll start to kind of open up. And hopefully more Filipinos will see you. You might be that person. I think sometimes we think it's got to be some superstar or some outside source. Sometimes it's probably another Filipino looking for you right now. So if you step up, they'll be like, oh man, I found another one. So sometimes that's it. Hope that helps. And sorry about the fish sauce thing. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I literally thought about fish sauce in my head. Sorry. Yeah, it was.
Okay, so I came up here with another question, but because of the last 2 things that actually got brought up, just bear with me for a second. So I tried talking to my family and saying, you're making me feel uncomfortable, you're shaming me. On top of that, they already shamed me for just being myself, and they made fun of me a lot. And they're very narcissistic, and it's just really sad. So when I went vegan, that just escalated to this whole other point, and it's just it's so hard. So I had these sit-down conversations, and I've told them how they make me feel, on top of just my life and just how they treated me. And then now being vegan, I have this conversation I love you so much, and it hurts me to see you not care about these things and not care about your health or me or my kids in the future and this planet. And they literally just shut me off. And it's been since October since I've talked to any of my family, and it's really hard because it's Christmas and things like that, and it's just I want to be around them, but when they feed me animal products and lie to me and tell me afterward, and make fun of me because I have these values.
It happens. Yeah.
But like, there's nothing I would ever stop or ever put myself before this movement. I'm dedicating the rest of my life every single day to this movement.
Yeah.
So that it hurts, but like, you know, like you were saying, if you had that conversation, what would you do in my situation?
In that situation, and I'm in the same boat, I literally have family that I haven't talked to in over 10 years. And it's not, but I think also too, you have to get to a point where you don't hate them. You just understand that you have to move on. Like, I think a lot of people, not just family, we get that get out of jail free card too much. And they're like, well, I can talk bad about her and Emily's gonna be right back tomorrow. And sometimes you're not, when you cut them off, it's not for you all the time. Sometimes they have to learn a lesson as well. And sometimes you have to be strong enough to let them learn their lesson. Like for me, you know, my family, and it wasn't necessarily all veganism, but just different things. When I see that people have that bad karma, that bad energy, and going vegan already, you already recognize bad energy. There's gonna be enough bad energy around you already. You don't need more. So for me, you just have to be okay with it. And then surround yourself. The beauty of being vegan in 2018 is we have events like this. We have social media. You have people from the other side saying we love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Like, you have to focus on that. And then, like I said, give yourself a timetable. You know, check in. Hey, how you doing? Even if it's by text. And sometimes you don't even want to talk to them because you know it's going to open the floodgates. But they also have to see. And when you say you haven't talked to them, you like cut off all communication or?
Yeah, so I actually like sat down and I talked to each of them like one-on-one, and I had told them how they make me feel. And my mom basically said yeah. So my sister, like, my family's very narcissistic, so we use each other to get things out of them. So my sister will like pull this whole card like, oh, I miss you and whatnot. It's like, I miss all of them so much, but she's just trying to get information out of me. So then she'll go home and tell my mom, and so like.
So you stopped talking to her too?
She basically told me once it hits a year mark that like I'm never allowed to be back in the family.
Awesome. You got, I mean, as bad as that sounds, that means you have to find some people that love you and want you. And there's people out there. I think we have to,
I really appreciate it.
Seriously. See, just like that. And her last name is Lewis too, by the way. That's my sister. No.
She's so amazing. She makes amazing artwork, so please go check her out. Like, straight up amazing. It's on the walls back here. But why you wanted to come up here? But thank you all for hearing my story. You were talking about how you lose a lot, or you lose.
Yeah, it's all good. It's emotional right now.
Yeah, very much shaking. But I used to weigh 155 pounds, and I lost a bunch of weight going vegan after watching COWSPIRACY. Thank you guys so much for making that movie. But like after being vegan, my mom would always be like, you need to gain more weight, you're unhealthy, things like that. What really helped you like lose that weight and I mean, I've lost a lot of weight, but I still want to get more lean. So what helped you lose that last bit of weight?
Putting down the cake. But it was more like I had goals. And I think I saw a meme the other day, which I was actually gonna post it for Midnight Motivation tonight, but I used it. And it basically said, you can still be dope and be humble. And that was one of my things. I was like, I wanted to be the best I could be, but I didn't want to be a jerk to do it. Sorry, Ethan back there, I don't want to curse. But I didn't want to be a jerk, but I wanted to be the best I could be. And I knew in order for me to do that, I had to sacrifice a couple things. And it wasn't even really sacrifice, it was more like I just had to stop doing what I know wasn't gonna get me to that goal. And that's all it is. It's just like your happiness, sometimes you gotta get rid of a couple things to get rid of that couple, to get more lean and probably tone, you're gonna have to do more conditioning. It's nothing but that, and you gotta look down the road, like, you know what, this workout might have hurt today, but damn, I know in 9 weeks, woo, it's okay to love yourself, to be like, this is gonna work out, this is gonna look nice. Not in a conceited way, not putting anybody else down. You're just like, you know what, if I keep this up, man, this is gonna feel good. And that's what it was about, just keep pushing forward. Thank you. Okay. We got 10 minutes, so we got a couple questions. I don't know who has the microphone. But,
Me. Oops, sorry.
oh, the boom, there you go.
Okay, so it was just a little thing that I wanted to tell you. I've been following you for a while. I'm an athlete, and I love to show everyone around me, athletes, people that my friends from the gym, that we are so energetic, that we can build muscle, that we can, that on a plant-based diet. So I always lead by example, and this is how I got my children to be vegan, and I'm the only vegan in my family, so it's kind of like what I think we're all going through this.
Yeah.
We're all surrounded by people that are not with us, and they're not on the same page. So I think that what my goal is to lead by example, and I wanted to tell you that you're truly that. When I see you on social media, you're leading by example. Your community, the people who are following you, and it's just something that I wanted to tell you and that I want to share with everybody, because I feel like as vegans we need to lead by example.
Yeah.
Show how energetic we are. I play soccer with my son all day. I play football. Then I go to the gym. Then I go to the gym twice to do cardio. Then I go to weights. Then I go to their events. Then I go to school. You know, we have to show how healthy, energetic, and happy we are.
Yeah.
And leading by
That's true.
example is
That's
so
true.
important. So
Yes.
I just wanted to
Thank you.
for
And to go along with, I think they got hands up back there, but to go along with what you're saying, and this is another thing that I always say is that when we're leading by example, like sometimes we have to understand that a lot of people won't give us credit for what we're doing, but they might say something 2 years down the line. I had a friend, literally, she used to crack so many jokes about me being vegan. And I went to a friend's wedding, and we got back from the wedding, and I got a text message from her, and she was like, okay, I'm over this. And this was 3 years ago. She said, I'm over this. Every time I'm around you, you're the happiest person in the room. You're always having fun. You're energetic. You're doing this, you're doing that. She's like, what's up with this vegan thing? Let's do it. Literally, it's been 3 years now she's been vegan. And the years before that, when I tell you how bad she talked about me, but I never let people get to me. Like when people crack jokes, I'm like, oh, that's awesome, how those pills going? You know, like that's me. Like, you have to realize too, and people in here that are having trouble with family, that you'll recognize this too, that negative loves negative energy. So like, if they see that it really affects you, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna be more negative. They're gonna keep pounding it on and keep pounding it on. But if they finally see that it doesn't bother you, they're like, damn, I've tried everything and it is not getting to Emily. I don't know what I'm trying. Like, after a while, they're just like, all right, well, I guess I gotta stop. You know, like, so sometimes you have to understand that negative energy and just let that negative energy be. Because there's a saying that says, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one entity to the next. So if it's all negative energy, they're trying to give you that negative energy so they can get it off them. You ever watch like an internet troll when they're on somebody's page, and when they get a reaction from that person, you can see like the energy. They're like, yes, I got him, let's go. But if you come to my page, if you ever watch a troll on my page and they're talking noise about me, I'm like, oh my God, thank you for coming to my page, that's amazing. And then they'll keep on going. I'm like, hey man, that's twice in one day. You keep this up, we're gonna be best friends. Like, if you watch, after a while, the other people watching too, they notice that and they're like, damn, you handled that pretty good, man. Maybe I can do that too. So just look at that. I know somebody had a question. I'm sorry, I know we don't have that much time. Go ahead. Okay.
Thanks for being here, John. I have a question about, it involves food deserts.
Okay.
You always get a personal color thing, so we're always coming at you with this. But I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the movie The Invisible Vegan.
Yes, I actually talked about that in the last speech I did. It's awesome.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because you know the piece with John Sally saying, hey, this is not a cultural thing, this is like master's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was thinking, you know, on that whole topic, we need more leadership. I mean, we get some and we're grateful for all we get. But I was noticing the NBA Finals is here right now. LeBron is in town and Steph Curry and all that. And it seems to me like one of the things that would really tip it, like we get all kinds of musicians and artists to come vegan.
Yeah.
But if we got LeBron to go vegan, you know, I know LeBron has done commercials for McDonald's and Wendy's and all that. But I know he used to play with James Jones. And I know looking at LeBron, he doesn't eat McDonald's. I don't know what he does exactly, but he ain't eating McDonald's. As far as like getting those guys, Steph Curry and LeBron both seem like good guys. They've taken like good stances on social issues.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering about getting them and what you feel about getting, you know.
If I could, yeah. That's easy.
We can go over there.
Yeah, okay. It might be a couple of rounds of security waiting on us, but we can try. But funny note, I actually am interviewing, his trainer is actually vegan. So I'm interviewing him for the documentary. So I'm working on it. And I can't make any guarantees. I don't want nobody to go home and be like, John said he gonna make LeBron vegan. That's not what I'm saying. His trainer's vegan and he'll be in the documentary. We're working on it. But he does implement a little bit to him from time to time and get in there. I guess culturally he just hasn't got over it yet. But yeah, I think the older he gets, the more he's starting to see like there's something to this, not aching as much every day. So I'm working on it. That's all I can say. Thank you. Yep. You ready?
Yeah, we're good.
You good?
You want me to show you the video?
Oh, it's ready? Is it gonna be up here? All right. And real quick, before she plays the video, thank you everybody. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can email me, john@badassvegan.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. I'm all over there. Thank you. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Badass Vegan. And as you know, I'm not a rapper, but I thought I'd drop you a little helping hip hop for your soul. So hopefully after you get done with this, you'll be a little vegan smart. You ready? Let's go. Okay, so today we gonna change the game. You might change up your lane or remain the same. You might think I'm a lame or just plain insane, but here's food for thought to sustain your brain. No, it's not your fault. There's education out there that nobody taught from the time you were born. They got you ready for GMO pork as a kid when they introduced you to a sport. Make them put anything together, cause they know that you'll eat anything they tell you. Fast food, fries, chicken, finger licking, good for you to eat. Should you question the meat? Better believe it. We got meat if you leave it out for a year. Bacteria won't even eat it. Neither will the flies. We done with the lies, and we just got to speak truths to your lives.
Get fast food everywhere, destroying people that don't care.
We only came here just to elevate life. Tell them what's right. Eating smart, being smart from the heart. I'm speaking wise words with a badass vegan. Yo,
celebrate life. We only came here just to elevate life. Tell them what's right. Eating smart, being smart from the heart. I'm speaking wise words with a badass vegan.
So you can make informed decisions, fix things in your life with more precision. Never too late for your redemption. Get busy dying and get busy living. Yo, I'll tell you though, who got the answers? World Health Organization, this about cancer. 18% less chance of cancer at your feet if you cut out the processed meat. But yeah, we all know how to process meat. Yeah, I'm ready, but it ain't stopping me. Before you say you're not taking pork out your lives, make the documentary for sober knives. COWSPIRACY and earthlings, the first thing you should see. Divine meat is the worst thing for your body. I'm talking to somebody who's making that change right now, so let's talk.
Get fast food everywhere, destroying people that don't care.
Celebrate life. We only came here just to elevate life. Tell them what's right. Being smart from the heart. I'm speaking wise words from the badass vegan.
So let's celebrate life. We only came here just to elevate life. Tell them what's right. Eating smart, being smart from the heart. I'm speaking wise words from the badass vegan. Our lives tonight, increasing our health. We on a path to paradise. And it's alright tonight. We're sharing the wealth. We want to make sure when we look in your eyes that we know you will survive. We're giving you life.
We don't expect you to follow to the letter. Just trying to give you the way to do better. Just trying to get you to see the whole setup. And we're here to give you a hand if you let us. Quick stop, let's right the ship. Sing this fight with the world star hip hop. Cause we in a fight, man, we fight for our lives. For the right to live, man, we fight for our wives. Fighting for our kids. If this was an innocent threatening the lives, man, you will fight to the end. You can live a lot longer. Ignore the myths, you become a lot stronger. Pass on the way, there's protein and greens. Vegetables, broccoli, almonds and peas. Lentils, soybeans, man, it's a ton. I got 99 problems, but protein ain't one.
Everywhere, destroying people that don't care.
Celebrate life. We only came here just to elevate life. Tell them what's right, eating smart, being smart from the heart I'm speaking. Wise words from the badass vegan. Shout out to the noobs, vegan smart, nature aid, stick. My boy Styles P, Tory Washington, Don Thompson, Vegan Food Share, and everybody else out there, much love. We out.